November, I'm focusing a lot on Yoga Hour Sequence 1. That doesn't need to mean anything to you in particular, but as we move along throughout the month, I'll be picking apart different pieces of that sequence so that hopefully every time that we return on Sundays to the full Yoga Hour 1 sequence, we'll start to see how that evolves in our bodies and in our mind. Okay, so take a comfortable seat. Sit nice and tall through the spine. Take a moment to close your eyes. Bring your gaze inward. Bring focus and attention to your breath. No need to change or alter the breath except for noticing it a little more deeply. The word of the day today is begin. Every day offers us this opportunity to begin anew, begin again. As you see many poses that are familiar in your body, also look for a new beginning piece of the pose. And then nod the chin down to the chest. Perhaps bring the palms together in prayer hands as an offering to yourself for this time for practice. You can release the hands, roll the right ear over towards the right shoulder, chin down to chest, and left ear to the left shoulder. And do that a couple of times, just creating this sort of half moon rock back and forth. And then again, chin down to the chest. Take both hands behind the head and give a little press of the head up into the hands. Light stretch from the top of the spine down to your tailbone. Pull the navel into the spine to find a firming tone in the belly. Okay. And then we'll release the hands, lift the head, and open your eyes. Okay. Big pose, downward facing dog. So come right on over to all fours, tuck the toes, and lift your hips to down dog. And here, you're free to pedal the feet a little bit back and forth, shake the head, yes and no. As always, do what works for you. Find downward facing dog in your body. Then take a little glance forward at your hands. Spread all 10 fingers pretty wide and try to plug down a lot through the thumb and first finger. Keeping that, let the head relax again to look back at your shins or toes. Bend your knees a bit and press your hips up into the air so that we have a little more relief and freedom across the low back. Less strain in the hamstrings here. Keep strengthening the press of the hands down and forward to make the arms strong and steady for you in this pose. And then straighten the legs and press your heels back and down. One more full breath here, and then exhale out. Take a look forward again at the hands and walk all the way up to the front of the mat. Bent knee, forward fold, meaning keep your knees bent in this position. All 10 fingers still on the floor, so you have a bit of a closed, chained stretch in the body. Make the legs only as straight as they go, keeping all 10 fingers connected to the ground. Again, a breath in and a breath out. Take the hands to the hips, point the elbows to the sky, and come all the way up to standing. Inhale and lift the arms to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Half lift, extend from the hips out to the crown of the head, and step back to plank position. From the top of your push-up, squeeze the heels in, squeeze your glutes, lengthen the tailbone, tone your belly. Look a little forward rather than just straight down. Nice. Keeping as much control as possible, lower all the way flat down against your yoga mat. And take your hands back behind you and fly. Lift everything that you can up away from the mat. Shalabhasana, locust pose. Squeeze the heels pretty close in. Lift, lift, lift. And then on an exhale, lower it down, press back, hips to the heels in child's pose. And change right away to downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward in between the hands for low lunge. Make the back leg straight. And then come upright in the torso and stack the arms overhead as well. So be as vertical as you can from your hips to your fingertips here. Press evenly down into your front big toe and press out through the back heel. And then lower the hands, step back to plank. Here, we're adding in a push-up, down and up, and then back to down dog. Step the left foot forward into your long, low lunge. Always use your time. Get into the full stride. And then come upright. Arms overhead. Take a breath in. Let it go. Lower the hands. Step back. Another push-up. And down dog. Take 2 breaths here in downward facing dog. And throughout this warm-up, know that the push-ups are there for you to take them or leave them. Anytime you want to leave them, stay high in your plank pose. Okay, again, step the right foot forward. Take both hands to the inside of your foot. And then spin the back heel down to the mat. So 2 flat feet. Down dog lunge, walk the hands out so they split that top corner of your mat. Try to broaden your front knee away from the front shoulder. And keep finding a little bit of room and space. Sometimes that means walking the hands a little more to the side so that this pose is more doable. And then the hands come back in. And switch sides. Now you can step forward, or maybe you want to jump, or even step back in between. But left foot forward, right foot back. Both hands to the inside of the foot. Spin the right heel down. And walk the hands out. Again, if it works, begin by walking the hands forward. But then know that you can create some change and further opening. Perhaps it feels better to begin with the hands more out to the side for you. Find your way. And then come back, low lunge. Everyone step forward, top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Press the hands onto your shins or thighs as you extend through the torso. And then fold over your legs. Stand all the way up, reach the arms to the sky. Bring palms together, center the chest. So these are like a longer sun salutation. We have 2 more to start us out. Lift the arms up. Exhale, fold over. Half lift. Step back to plank. Lower flat down against the mat. This time try interlacing the hands behind your back. And lift up. Exhale, lower down. Move to downward facing dog. We'll start to speed this up just a bit. Step the right foot forward. Come up, high lunge. It's now just half a breath here. And then lower the hands down. Step back to plank. Hold plank or do a push-up. And downward facing dog. And then step the left foot forward. High. Lift the arms, lift the torso. Right back down, step back to plank. Hold plank or add down and up. and down dog. And then you get 2 breaths here. Go again to your lunge. Step the right foot forward and build your hands up to your front thigh, but keep your torso still forward over the thigh. Here, we'll add our twist. Hands change to prayer. Take the left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Press the right hand down, point the right elbow up to the sky. As you tone and turn through the belly, also think of lengthening your spine from the hips out to the crown of the head. And then untwist, set the hands down, and switch sides. Left foot forward, right foot back. Bring the hands up to your front thigh. Squeeze the inner thighs towards each other for strength. Keeping that, then add the twist, right elbow to the outside of the left knee. And you can be way lunged down or a little more lifted in that twist. Next breath, untwist, set the hands down, step forward, both feet to the front. Half lift, forward fold, stand up, arms to the sky, and bring palms together, center of the chest. Okay, one more round with all these big lunges. Take the arms back up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Again, inhale, half lift. This one's a little bit different. Step back to plank. And then lower your knees down and do 8-point pose. So it's chin, chest, hands, knees, toes to the ground, and try to keep your hips lifted. So it's that little grasshopper position. Squeeze the elbows firm in towards the side. And then change to cobra, belly down, chest up. Press through the hands and the top of the feet. Press back to child's pose and change to downward facing dog. Our big steps here are the same. Step the right foot forward. Come up, high lunge. Exhale, lower the hands down, step back to plank. Hold plank or add down and up with the push-up and dog pose. Second side, step the left foot forward. Come on up, high lunge. Exhale, lower the hands down, step back. Hold plank or add your push-up. Down dog, take 2 full breaths. And again, step the right foot forward to your lunge. Hands to the inside. Spin the back heel down. This time, come all the way upright, arms to the sky. This is warrior 1. Press through your back heel and your front big toe. Now you could stay right here or add a little bit more. Take the hands behind your back, interlace. Squeeze your elbows in. As you straighten the arms, lift the chest. Again, stay right there. Or take your head down towards your right heel and your arms up to the sky. Evenly press through your feet so you can stay balanced here. Take 1 more breath. And then everyone release the arms down around the front foot. Pick up your heel and switch sides. Left foot forward, right foot back. Nicely done. Come on up for warrior 1. Line up about heel to heel there, so you've still got about hip distance apart in your stance. Square the shoulders. And again, stay there or try hands behind your back. So second favorite finger in front of that clasp. It should feel just a little bit odd. And as you straighten the arms, lift the chest. Stay upright or take it for no-handed lunge. Head down, arms up. Pull your left hip back towards your right heel here. Try to square the hips, still mostly towards the front. And then again, lower the hands either side of the front foot and step forward, both feet to the front of the mat. Half lift. Forward fold. Stand up, arms to the sky, big full reach. And palms together, center of the chest. Turn your eyes downward or close them. Notice how you feel. Body warm, brain fired up. Release the arms. Give everything a little bit of a shake. And we can begin our standing pose series. So come to the center of your mat and take a wide stance. Arms out in either direction. Point the toes straight ahead and your heels straight back. And then turn your right toes out. Gaze out past the right fingertips. Good old triangle pose. Reach as far as you can to the right. Lower the hand down to the floor, top arm to the sky. And that bottom hand could reach a block or your leg instead of the ground. Try to keep the shoulders stacked on top of each other so that your chest can stay open, full of life and breath here. Use the back foot, press down to come all the way back upright and switch sides. Turn your feet. Reach as far as you can to the second direction. And then drop the left hand down to leg, floor, or a yoga block, top arm to the sky. Good. Can you turn your gaze to the top hand and let you form one line from your shoulder straight up towards the sky? We have a tendency to let it hang back a little bit. Think straight up. And then inhale and come all the way upright. Turn your feet parallel to one another. Make your fingertips touch. Here we are. Bend the knees and step or jump all the way in. Fingertips touch, bend the knees, step or jump all the way out. Be good to yourself. All right, turn the right toes out. Good old warrior two, bend the knee so it goes over the line of the ankle. And here we're sitting as low as works from inner thigh to inner knee, forming one straight line, and then knee down to the inner ankle, about 90 degrees. Change the side angle, elbow to the knee, top arm, palm down overhead. And we're staying up here, elbow to the knee, so that we have a lot of room to reach on the top side of the body. That's it. Inhale, come all the way back upright, straighten the right leg, turn the toes and go to the second side. Bend the left knee. You can be a little dynamic in that, sort of move in and out of the pose for the first couple of breaths. And then as you find where you feel good in a static pose, elbow down to the knee, top arm, palm down overhead. Being kind to yourself, being good to yourself in a way that lets you know that where you begin, where you end, where you find your length one day is a little different than the next. Do what works today. Come back upright, straighten the leg. Turn the toes, again, fingertips to touch. Heel toe or jump all the way into the center. Okay, we're doing that one more time. Fingertips in, step or jump all the way out. Right toes out, just like you just started. Back to warrior two. This time, take that opposite hand down to your hip. And lean over so that your right hand can be on the pinky toe side of your foot. And we're just setting ourselves up here for half moon. Walk the back leg in until it's easier to extend all of your weight onto the right side and lift your left leg as high as works. Take the top arm up. Your standing leg, you could keep the knee bent to make it easier to reach the ground for certain. Or have the bottom hand underneath some height. Notice what's happening to your back leg. Lift it a little higher, take it more out to the side. Sometimes that helps, keeps the low back with a little bit of extra space. And then come all the way back to warrior two. Slowly lower down, build the torso upright, and straighten the leg and flip sides. Okay, so left knee towards warrior two. Take your back hand to your hip. Lean over until you can get your hand down to the floor. And this right here is a good telltale sign. Do you want to have a hand, a block underneath you, some height, especially as you move in. And lean all of your weight into your left big toe and lift your right leg as high as it'll go. Focus on the top leg, the lifted leg getting straight. Tone the quad muscle. And the foot can always be more out to the side than you think too. Top arm, reach it to the sky once it works. I like to look down the whole time, it's just easier, but you could also challenge your balance, the structure of the pose by looking up. And then we'll take it back to warrior two. Even in the transitions, see a tension. Straighten the leg, turn the toes parallel to one another. Now wide-legged forward fold, take the hands down, head down towards the mat. Walk the hands forward enough that you can feel most of the weight in your toes. Lift up on the kneecaps, tone in the quads. It's not about locking out the knees. Of course, we don't want to do that, but we're looking for as straight of a leg as works here to get into a safe stretch through the back of the leg. Different things at different times. We're going for straighter legs now. And then take the hands to the hips, bend the knees, and help yourself all the way up to standing, heel toe the feet, all the way in, little shake. Okay, right into balance here. Take the arms straight out in front of you and lift your right knee in between. Hold on to the front of your shin to help it come a little bit higher up. Okay, right hand, same hand as foot. Reach down to the inside of your leg, but then can it wrap to the pinky toe side of your foot? We're kind of crouched over, then try to stand up taller. Other arm can be your counterbalance, maybe even holding on to a wall, a chair, or something. And extend your lifted leg as much as works. Maybe it's all the way straight. Maybe it's nowhere straight. It doesn't matter. Just lift, lift, lift. Hold on to it for one more breath. And bring it all the way back in and down. Okay, how do you wish to begin on the second side? So you could do the same kind of work to get in. I've hold around the front of the shin, lean over to catch hold. Maybe there's a different way that you want to get into this catch. Try the second side. What's happening with that standing leg? Press down through your big toe. Think of lifting all the way up to your head. One more breath, looking awesome. Nice job, yogis. Lower down. Give a little bit of a shake there. Similar, but different. Arms straight out, lift the right leg, and again, hold the front of the shin. I'm trying to release the hip flexor a little bit for you as you lift here. And then do crouch over, and two choices. Hands underneath the thigh, more doable. Hands underneath your foot, more difficult. Start where it works. Then kick the leg out. Kick, kick, kick. Push through your big toe, pull back on the pinky toe of that kicking leg. You could bend the elbows, hug them down around the leg. And pull it back in and down. Stand on 2 feet. We'll give it a go on the second side. Again, like I'm gonna hold on to a wall here so that I can know that to start, I can form most of the pose and I don't have to worry about balance. You could do a similar type thing and then try to wane yourself off. Kick the leg out. Perhaps what works today is chest more lifted, or bend in the knee, both legs maybe. Breathe through it all. And then lower the left leg. Shake out those feet. Take the arms all the way up to the sky. Full gratitude that this next pose keeps both feet on the ground. Utkatasana is our power pose. Bend into the knees, sit into your thighs. Look down for a moment and keep your knees over the middle of your feet. And then try to lift your torso more vertical, kind of inching your way up. Inhale, stand up. Exhale, same exact thing, bend the knees, sit again. Now take your torso more towards parallel to the ground. Give all of your weight to your right foot and tap your left foot back behind you. Warrior 3, it starts with the leg on the ground. Work to lift the left leg up. As you lift the left leg, you'll notice you need to squeeze your butt like crazy to keep it going. Straighten the right leg only as much as your hips can stay square down towards the floor. And then we rebend, lower the left leg, chair pose, stand up. Exhale, back to chair pose. More parallel to the ground. All of your weight onto the left leg. That's some strong hip stability work. We do a lot of hip opening in yoga. We need to make sure that stability is with us too. Lift the right leg up, up, up. Lower the right leg down, 2 feet together, stand up. Bring the hands to prayer. Turn your gaze low or close your eyes. Take in 2 breaths. Again, noticing how you feel. Stand all the way up at the top of your mat. Revolve triangle pose is next. So this is also one that a lot of folks like to have a block for. Make sure it's towards the top of your mat if you're using it. I gotta catch my breath, another breath. Keep the right foot forward and step your left foot back like you're coming into your lunge, but then spin the left heel flat against the ground and take 2 straight legs. If we look back, your left toes, try to turn them so they look up towards that front corner of your mat. We'll get both hips, shoulders squared to the front and lift the left arm as high as you can. Okay, like in Warrior 3, we're going to try to take our torso as parallel to the ground here as possible. So notice how much strength you need of the squeeze of the inner thighs to stabilize in the hips. Tone in the abdomen to keep this lift. And then add your twist. Left hand down to the floor. Take it big toe side for most ease, pinky toe side for more intense twist. Keep thinking head straight out towards the front of your mat and right arm up to the sky now. Press down and out through both feet. Try to keep the back outer heel still on the ground. And then walk it back, both hands to your hips. Press down through your feet and come upright in your torso. We're looking good. Let's try the second side. Step the left foot forward and the right foot back. Most common mistake, I don't know if that's right to say, that I see here is us trying to do a shorter stance, but that means you have to reach further down to the ground. So challenge yourself into that full stance. 2 legs straight, so that even when you're standing upright here, you have to do some work and engagement in the back leg to keep the heel on the ground. So about 3.5 feet apart usually. Come forward. And here you could dig your left thumb into the crease of your left hip and try to pull it up and back, and that'll give you more leverage as you extend the right arm out in front of you. Right hand down either side of the foot, and top arm up to the sky. If you can, look to the side or look up. It'll open up the twist, a little more agreeable for you in the upper back. And then slowly come out of the twist, place both hands at your waist, and come upright. Pick up the back heel and step forward. Lift both arms to the sky. Exhale, forward fold, and step back, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Here in dog pose, pedal your feet a little back and forth, shake the head. Enjoy the familiarity of this pose and still always trying to see something new in it. Moving along, take the right leg up into the air, 3-legged dog, and step it all the way forward into your low lunge. Bring both hands to the inside of your foot and heel toe your right foot over towards the right side of your mat. Maybe even hop the left foot a little to the left so you're using most of the width of your mat. Good. Let's lower the back knee down. Try taking the hands flat and pull the chest a little bit forward. So I'm trying to drag the heel of my hand back, but the back knee forward. Keep with this or go lower, down to the forearms. One more challenge. If you're down on the forearms, try lifting the back knee up. And for today, everything headed straight ahead. So right toes toing straight ahead, and try to point the right knee always right over the center of your foot. Humble warrior. Give it a few long breaths there. And then walk back up to your hands. Circle around to plank pose. Kick that right foot to the left, see plank pose. Downward facing dog, lift the hips up high. Lift the left leg up into the air, 3-legged dog. Swing it all the way through. Take your time. Nice full length. Good, good, good. Hands to the inside. We'll lower the back knee down. Go to flat palms. Try to stay as lifted in the torso to start. Again, look forward. Push the back knee down and forward. Pull the heel of your hands slightly back. And keeping that same kind of effort, go lower, down towards the forearms. Forearms can again place underneath height of a block. As I teach, I don't implore the props just because I know that we might not all have access to them, but know that anytime you want to bring the floor a little closer to you, put a block under the hands. Back knee is up, back leg straight as works. Stay with the pose, stay with your breath. And then walk it all the way back up to your hands. And again, shift back to plank pose, hold it for a breath. Squeeze the glutes, tone the belly, and change to downward facing dog. Next thing starts mostly the same. Lift the right leg again, up, step it all the way through, and take the hands to the inside. Scooch the right foot over to the side. Lower the back knee down. Okay, and then we're adding the twist. Bring your weight onto your left hand so it moves a little bit out and away, and look over your right shoulder. There's your twist. Other challenge points, pull the left heel into you, reach and hold, quad stretch. So we're doing a twist and a quad stretch. If you're also wanting a back bend, move that right shoulder further back and curl so that you're looking up towards the sky. So many opportunities. Begin with what works today. And then slowly unwind. Pick up the back knee. Step back to plank. Hips high, downward facing dog. Second side, again, goes in much the same way. Lift the left leg up. Step it all the way through and bring the hands to the inside. Widen the feet. Okay, back knee down. And then we're trying to give ourselves more space. So you take the right hand off of your yoga mat, kind of lean towards it, and look over your top left shoulder. Twisted monkey. You can add the quad stretch, back heel in, maybe the hand as well. Try to bring your back heel and your outer sit bone towards one another. If you're going for the back bend, just look all the way up towards the sky. And slowly unwind. Plank pose. From plank, flat down against your yoga mat. Cobra, press the hands and feet down, lift the chest. Exhale, lower the belly all the way back down to the mat. Bend both knees, so we take that quad stretch. Hands to your feet. If your hands don't reach your feet, imagine that they do and hold the shape. And let's all lift everything that we can up, up, up. So now you've got the closed chain of your belly down back bend, which often results in allowing a little more lift in the chest, even through the intensity of the posture. Squeeze the inner thighs towards each other, knees just hip distance apart. And then exhale, lower it all the way down. Change to child's pose. Should feel nice to let the back round in the opposite way. Little release and fold in the hips. When you're ready, change again to downward facing dog. If anything, go for a slightly longer stance of downward facing dog than you typically do. And we want to keep, as we move into side plank here, an angle of the shoulder to wrist. Plant the right hand down, spin to the outer edge of the right foot. Make sure the hips stay high enough that that shoulder stays back from the line of the wrist, even just slightly, and take the left arm up to the sky. Squeeze your glutes just nice and strong like you do in regular plank position. And then lower the left hand down and lift the hips again to down dog. So we're not staying here for super long. Spin to the outer edge of the left foot. Try to keep the hips lifted. Shoulder back at an angle from the wrist and right hand to the sky. And then again, lower the right hand down and go back to downward facing dog. Similar but different. I want you to keep your right hand where it is, but take your right foot, outer edge of the foot, where your left foot was. So you've got a diagonal line now from your right hand to the outer edge of your right foot. And then again, go to side plank pose. Now, step your top leg, your left foot, back so that it lines up with your right hand. Turn your hips and look up towards the sky. Wild thing, Katha Makrasana. So you're using the width of your mat to find this pose. And then look down and take the hands Untwist the body for downward facing dog. Yeah? So second side, we keep the left hand where it is. You can just kind of walk the feet over to the opposite side of the mat. Turn to the outer edge of the left foot, and you have side plank at a diagonal line. Leaving room for you to step your right foot behind you. Line up right foot, one side of the mat, left foot the other side of the mat. Turn the hips. You can always bend the knees more here. Go for a straight left leg if it works. And then unwind back to downward facing dog. Lower the knees, child's pose. Let your palms turn up towards the sky, maybe a little bit of close and opening of the hands to release and relax in the wrist and fingers. Bring your torso upright. We're going to change all the way to a seated position, legs straight out in front of you. All right. Lower on the mat here. Flex your feet, point the toes, the knees straight up towards the sky. And bend your knees enough that you can take your first two fingers and your thumb and hook it around your big toe. So just bend your knees. You can take them wide, more out to the side. Or you can say, screw that, I'm going to hold on to my shins instead. Okay? Pull your right leg back towards your ear like you're trying to talk on the phone to your foot. Oh, not at all the easiest thing. Let it down and do it on the second side. Sometimes keeping the bind of both legs is hard, but if you lift off of one leg, it's easier. Again, it's that beginning point. Where do we start? And then release. Okay, you can let go of that and cradle the right leg. Swing it, rock the baby. And then try to wear the leg. So we push our knee as far back as we can, heel up to the sky. You're wearing that backpack strap. Clamp your heel down. And this clamp down, super important because it allows us to strengthen in towards the center. Clamp down. Keep folding a little forward. Press down into your hands and try to lift your butt. And then put your seat back down, lean back, and lift your foot. Good. Can you keep this position? Cross at your ankles. Squeeze your inner thighs, knees around your right arm, and try to lift your seat off of the ground again. Yeah. Take it over, Asta Vrksasana, and fall on down to your mat. Let's see what happens on the second side. Little baby cradle there, back and forth. And this is really the important piece of the pose. It's allowing us a little bit of room and space in the hips. Everything else is just a little extra fun. Okay, knee stays back. We lift it up high and try to wear your leg. Both hands down. Clamp the heel, and it's a rounded back here so that you can really lock into your abdominal strength. Press down through the hands and lift your hips up. And the hips go down, you lean back, more lifted in the torso, and lift the right leg off of the ground. Cross the feet, squeeze in the hips. Okay, you lean forward until the mechanics of the pose let you lift the hips up. And extend the legs out. Keep squeezing the bottom leg towards the arm, top leg towards the arm. And then again, come out of the pose. Legs out in front of you. Give it all a little bit of a shake. Don't worry about it. Boat pose. Lean back into your hips. Extend the arms. Pull the feet up off of the mat. Lift your chest 2 inches higher. Rock all the way over to your left hip and take your arms to the right, and then just start to pedal. Good old cosmic abs. The slower you go, the harder this is. So you pick your pace. Switch it over to the other side and pedal. We go back to the first side and pedal. And back to the second, pedal. Boat pose right into the center. Extend, extend, extend. You've got this. Excellent work. Lie down onto your back. As you lie down onto the back, take your hands under your hips so they form a little extra support, and legs straight up into the air. I always like to start this one leg at a time. Lower the right and then pick it up. Lower the left and pick it up. You can continue to do this one side at a time. A little extra strength, obliques. Or inner edges of the feet stay together and you lower the legs at the same time. Down and up. Down and up, just like those cosmic abs. The slower we go here, the more intense the posture tends to be. We want to keep a good connection mid to low back as if it's moving down towards the mat. If you start to notice you have a big curve of your low back away from the floor, then don't lower the legs any further. Do this for about 10 more seconds. Lowering down, lifting up. If you're looking for a lot more challenge, the hands come away from the butt and to the back of the head, and even a little bit of a crunch head and shoulders off of the mat. All right, that's enough. Pull the knees into the chest, give it a good squeeze, and rock a little bit from side to side. Set the soles of your feet down onto your yoga mat. Bridge pose. Try to take your hands to brush close to or right against your heels. And in bridge pose, press your feet down, your shoulders, your back of the head down into the mat. And then lift your hips up. As we lift our hips up, good squeeze in the glutes here. So we want the back side of the body to get as much out of this pose as the front side of the body. You're strengthening hamstrings, glutes, and back here. Maybe walk the hands to interlace underneath you. And as we strengthen the back side of the body, a nice full stretch along the front of the hip and open across the chest. Breathe big in the belly. Release the hands, lower the hips down to the mat. And again, hug both knees into the chest. Stay there. Take a couple of breaths. Set the feet back down and then cross the right ankle over the left thigh and pull the left leg in. Like threading the needle, take the arms through your legs and try to hold on behind your thigh or on top of your left shin. And lower your left leg, lower the right leg, and do the second side here. Left ankle over the right thigh, point the left knee out to the side and pull your right leg in, thread the arms through. Keep the left foot flexed, the toes kind of spread wide, and the left knee moving away from the chest. So I use my left elbow here to kind of keep some space if possible. And lower both feet back down. Rock your way up to a seated position and come to kneeling. Kind of just folding over your legs and coming to kneeling, perhaps in the center of the mat. If this kneeling position gives any pain to your knees. Sometimes I fold my mat over so I have a little more cushion. Feel free to do that. And then tuck your toes so that your heels are pointed straight up to the sky. You could also place a block beside each foot that is a little higher than your heel and go there first. Okay. Hands to the hips. Thinking about the legs much like they do in that bridge pose that we just came to. Like do squeeze in, squeeze the inner thighs, everything kind of strong in towards the center. And then as you squeeze the elbows into the back, it opens across our chest from the collarbone and look up to where the wall and ceiling meet each other. Here's your camel pose, Ustrasana. Stay right there, or as you continue to look up more straight towards the ceiling here. Maybe lean back enough to catch your heels. If you've caught your heels, then can you re-push hips, thighs more forward to keep that wheel kind of shape? To be safest here, bring the hands back to your low back and then gradually upright. Tops of the feet down, sit back on your heels, hands to your thighs, and just take a couple of breaths. You could also round over if your back needs more of that converse stretch. And then we will change full to child's pose. So find your way all the way over in the torso and reach your arms out in front of you. All right, listen up here from child's pose. Pick your butt up just high enough that you can tuck your toes and be on tucked feet. And then start to walk your hands back more in line with your knees so that you can lift your knees off of the ground. And you end up in this garland squat. Keep changing the weight so it's as far back in the feet as possible. Inner edges of the feet close in together, maybe even touching here. You're in this deep squat, knees out, wider than your shoulders. The next pose, Bakasana or crane pose, super important to get into the hips here. So thinking about this much hip opening, walk the hands now about a foot in front of your feet and lift your hips high enough that you can shift the weight of your knees onto your upper arms. So somewhere above your elbows, bend the arms so the knees can rest on a shelf. Try picking up one or both feet. This is one of the poses we'll break down a little more later in the month. We're just seeing where we start. If both feet are up, let them come back down and everybody go back into that deep garland squat. And then you can catch hands behind you. Sit at the back end of your mat with the soles of your feet together. Hold on to your ankles or the feet in Baddha Konasana. Big lift in the chest here. And change, extend the legs straight out in front of you. Bring the right foot against the left thigh, kind of like tree pose, and fold over. Try to hold on to the left leg somewhere, maybe behind the foot. Seated forward fold, just on one side here. And then we come up and switch sides. Bring the right foot out, left foot in. Hips still pretty square towards the front of the mat, so we're not open in this position today. Think of it like a one-legged fold. Come on over. All right. Back upright, both feet straight out. We've got one more twist here. Right leg in and over. Push down through your foot, both sides of your seat. Try to sit up really tall through the spine and add a twist. Look to your right. I'm hugging the left arm to the front of the shin. You could also take it like we did in the twist earlier, elbow to the outside of the knee. And inhale, come out of your twist and switch sides. Other foot in and over. And take the right elbow either to the outside or hug the front of your shin. Try to sit up tall. Evenly twist through the spine. And again, inhale through the middle. Extend both legs straight out in front of you. Take the hands about a foot behind you, and I've got my fingers turned out towards the sides. Press down through your hands, lift your hips off of the mat. Try to extend through your feet to put your feet flat on the ground, as flat as possible as we lift here. Reverse table position, straight legs. And then lower the hips back down. Lift the arms straight up as 90 degrees as we can from hands to hips. Maybe a bend in the knees to make that more doable from hips out to the heels. And then fold over, Paschimottanasana, your seated forward fold. Even round through the spine here. Give it like a long, full rainbow there, arching evenly all the way across. Inhale, lift the torso again. Slide your hips forward so you have enough room to lie down onto your yoga mat. Pull the knees into the chest. One more recline twist. Arms out to your side. Drop the knees over towards the right side. Try to do a little less now. Relax the muscles, relax the mind. Bring the knees across the center, lower them to the second side. And again, back into the middle. Give yourself a good hug for all of the work of this hour of practice. And then unwind to your Shavasana. So any last little movements you need along the way, cover up, layer, whatever feels right, find Shavasana. Do a quick mental walk through the body. Start from down in the toes. Slowly walk your way through. Release and relax. Let go of any last little tensions as best we can. And then taking your time, bring awareness back to body, a little bit of movement. Gradually come back to a seated position. As you find your seat, keep the eyes turned low or closed. Much like we had started, begin anew with each breath. Perhaps noticing how things have changed or shifted through the course of practice. And take palms together, thumbs to the sternum, and Anjali Mudra. Let's close this beginning practice together in the sound of an Om. You're welcome to sing along, even open up the mic if you wish. You're welcome to listen. You're welcome to tune it out. Empty out the breath and take a deep breath in. And deepest gratitude to yourself, each other, this practice. Namaste.